guys, Lorena, I want to do a laser video for you. I think y'all like this one, maybe. For Mother's Day, I wanted to bless all the mothers in my life, and I decided that I wanted to do a family tree. I wanted to do one of these. So I lasered like 10 of them, and we all the mothers got together and put all their family stuff on here. So I'm gonna do a video on how I did this, and I'm gonna also put a link on where I got this on Etsy, okay? Let's do this. I could have designed my own if I wanted to, but why, when it only cost me less than $5 to buy this design, why spend 3 hours or 2 hours to create something when you can buy it already? They already designed it, they already ran it through, they already figured it out, and yeah, no, $5 saves me 2 hours. So we talk about materials. All right, I ended up cutting my first trees with birch. Big old 4x2 birch sheet. I used my big mama, my big giant laser to laser it. Now you don't have to have a big giant laser to do this because I sized this up to 22 inches. The design itself was only 10 inches, so you can do this on your Myra if you have a smaller laser. But I have a large laser, so I used a 2x4 sheet of birch. What ended up happening is I went to repurchase birch, and I found out that birch right now is like $25 a sheet, which who would have known? So this is sandalwood, and I think it lasers just as beautiful, and it has all this beautiful texture in it. So a sheet of this only costs 11 bucks. 12 with tax and everything. So a beautiful sheet of wood. If you need to size it down for whatever size laser you have, you can have them cut it for you at Home Depot. Yeah. You're also going to use some stain. I recommend that you do some sample stains. I love this red mahogany. Yeah, you know, sorry, I don't have a clean one. I ended up doing different samples of stain because different woods stain differently. And so this is my sandalwood sample stain. Like colonial maple looks like nothing. So do a swatch test on the wood that you have. I did have a swatch test for the birch. Two different things I've learned about stain. If you stain it inside, it doesn't dry as quickly, and another thing, if you stain it outside, it dries really quickly and it dries really dark. So we were outside in Texas heat, probably like 100-degree weather, staining this one, and it just stained lovely. When I did my Mother's Day event, it took forever for the stain to dry because I have my house cold. Semi-gloss, satin, or gloss, however you want to do it, however you want to finish your design. I do recommend you use Loctite glue. It gives you a little bit of time to work the glue, meaning you can, if you're out of spot and you didn't put it just right, it gives you some time. I believe if you use Gorilla Glue, you don't have no more time. Where you put it is where you put it. Also a brush to do stain, and if you're one of them people, gloves so you don't get stain on your hands, but I personally don't care. I ended up making 8 of these, so like 8 different family members got to put their tree together and put the names and the heart and the information in the right place. Make sure you have a glue for each individual person because we went through this like crazy. Gluing the tree is one of the things that I found the most stressful, and you know, gluing on all the areas to make sure that everything locks in can be daunting, but one of these will satisfy filling a whole tree. Don't recommend wood glue. Wood glue was seeping out. We tried it, and then you have to put weights everywhere, and then the glue would seep out and you can see it, and it's a mess, and there's a lot of cleanup. And this does it right away. It just, and it's beautiful, beautiful. So I recommend this for sure. Sandpaper and a sander. Now I wanted to share something about my process. I tend to wash my wood after I've lasered it, and what I found is that I get the wood, I don't like the smell of wood or the char on my hands, so I get the item and I get a little bucket of water, and I have a nail brush with some soap of any kind, and I just brush the soot off and remove everything. And then after you do that, if there's still some charring somewhere, you just, unless you love sanding and anyway. I do recommend a sander so that you could sand the wood and make it nice and soft, but I tend to wash my wood and then get rid of all that soot, and so you don't have to do as much sanding, but you want it nice and so that it grabs, that stain grabs onto that wood. So, but be careful, and that's why I love this design. We went ahead and sanded it, and there was nothing that broke if you're really careful when you're sanding the top. To softly sand everything. With the sander, it could get caught, one of the branches pops off, and they have to glue it, and it's okay, but you know, why? When you're staining your tree, make sure that the stain is completely dry, because what I found is sometimes when the family members were putting them down, their hands had stain or the stain was wet, and then when they're putting it down, they ended up having stain in the background, which is okay. You just get a sandpaper and sand it down, but you have to be careful that you get everything locked in with that glue, and like you press down in every area. If you're doing this for family, I had to get everybody's spelling. Please give me all the family's name and the correct spelling and how you spell it or how you want it spelled, so that when I was lasering it, I only did one full run through. The neat thing about this program, when you download it in the program, is you can use any font. I used a really thin, beautiful font, but then the lettering broke on me, so I thickened the font. And find the font that you just love, and you can change it. The neat thing is her design, once you put it on the program, you can make it yours. You know what I mean? You can make it your design. Another thing that I did differently is in this design, she had different size hearts for different things. For the larger hearts, I used my family. For the smaller hearts, I used their children. And for the smallest heart, I used my grandchildren or great-grandchildren if you have them. And that's how I did it for my friend that I'm doing this one for. Some of my family ended up putting the name tag down there, and then some families ended up putting, you know, like Joseph and Jeanette Jones up here, because they're the two. Yes, it's Jones, but these are the couple, so it depends. Placement is all up to you. I ended up doing, and this is not mine, this is my friend's. She ended up, we haven't glued these down yet, so this is her son and her daughter-in-law, and then this is the child that they've made. I kind of like the children being on the outside. For example, this is another child, and she had 3 sons. Do you see how this is bigger and these are a little bit smaller, and these are the smallest ones? These are great-grandchildren. And so it doesn't matter how you put the tree down. You could have them scattered. It's up to you. You could design it how you want. And you can see that I washed this one, but I haven't washed these yet, because you see some of that charring. You just get an oxy wipe and just clean the charring off. That if you sand it, you have to be very gentle. And you can see these, how clean that wood is. Placement is up to you. I ended up putting my children on the outside of the tree, and my kids were like, why don't you put them on the bottom of the tree and it branches out? And I just wanted to do it my way, and no one's gonna tell me any different. And anyway, I lasered it, and I'm too old to be told what to do. So I did the way I wanted to, and I think it looks beautiful. It's kind of neat because I did this with 10 people, and 10 people had different stains they used. They placed their names differently. They designed it the way they wanted to. And so this is just such an individual, personal thing, especially when you're putting it together.